Well, hello, good people. I am Crystal Keys, and welcome to Workplace Keys to Success, a channel that brings you an unfiltered, no-nonsense approach to surviving workplace bullying. Narcissistic traits are associated with the encouragement of unfair treatment within organizations. Workplace bullying left unchallenged and without repercussions affect organizational cultures. We are going to dive into workplace bullying and leader narcissistic tendencies. But first, before we proceed, I want to remind you to subscribe and like. Share your success stories, share your experience, share your successful strategies. Let's help others overcome workplace bullying. Well, narcissism is identified by the American Psychiatric Association as a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, and this is in fantasy or behavior, with the need for admiration and a lack of empathy. Now, diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder typically is based on signs and symptoms, a physical exam to make sure that the individual doesn't have physical problems causing the symptoms, as well as a thorough psychological evaluation that may include filling out multiple questionnaires. Now, as laypersons, we cannot diagnose an individual with narcissistic personality disorder. But we are intelligent, we are smart, and we are aware of narcissistic tendencies. We know those characteristics. Research shows 5 elements of narcissistic leadership, namely charisma, selfish impacts, dishonest motives, intellectual aggression, and manipulation. Research also shows 2 types of narcissism in connection to leader charisma and employees enablement and their succeeding moral character. So they have morals, they come to the plate with morals, but within the organization. These are constructive and destructive narcissism. So positive and negative results, meaning there are positive and negative results to narcissism. So what are some negative leader narcissistic tendencies? Narcissistic leaders are totalitarian, rude, exploitative, and egotistical, showing deception and oppression of others. Narcissistic leaders ignore and detest employees with disagreeable views. The leader can intimidate or constrain employees with a different perspective from theirs. Narcissistic leaders emanate little or no empathy, show a perverse inclination, and unavoidably behave with negative competition. Oh my goodness, so competitive, and an egocentric rationale. Leaders with narcissistic tendencies show distorted self-images of themselves and a higher incidence of confidence and charisma, attracting allegiant employees. This is why sometimes we have those cults. Narcissistic leaders lack collaborative efforts and concern for the benefit of all. It's for them all about me, me, me. Narcissistic leaders exude a sense of entitlement along with grandiosity and vulnerability. Leader narcissism exhibits adverse reactions to constructive criticism and an exorbitant desire for appreciation, placing a psychological obstacle upon their employees. Additionally, a narcissist becomes more aggressive when criticized. This means even constructive criticism, they hate it. Now, previous studies of the impact of leader narcissism, unfortunately, is from leaders that are proclaiming effectiveness. They are the ones that are reporting it. The narcissistic leader is reporting it. So this illustrates a mask of success and efficiency. Narcissistic leaders frequently drive towards personal achievement and power from an egocentric perspective, wanting to be respected by their employees, their peers, but they rarely return the favor. Now, this display pushes leaders to abuse their power and adversely impact those they lead. Employees seek ethical guidance from leadership, but narcissistic leaders suffer from the lack of self-identity. Therefore, leadership influence produces a lost employee in doubt of a moral compass within the organization. Workplace bullying is strongly related to sociopaths, psychopaths, followed by machiavellism, and then narcissism. While a total elimination of leader narcissistic tendencies is improbable, the manifestation of instability within the organizational structure may neglectfully encourage the negative characteristics of narcissism. This will also lead to a narcissistic organization, especially without anti-bullying laws that we so need. The United States and other countries need the laws against workplace bullying. Workplace bullying can manifest within a complacent organizational culture that ignores hostile behaviors. Much like the infamous organization Enron, Enron did not have a single bully, but rather a culture of workplace bullying. Enron was allegedly notorious for workplace bullying, specifically the employees with contradiction to their idealistic organizational success and the assessment of their own company. Enron's outlook was askewed. So what are some measures to stop a leader with narcissistic tendencies, aka a bully? So we're dealing with workplace bullying here when we're dealing with narcissistic leaders. Well, know that workplace bullying can end with you. Stand up for yourself. How do we do this? We do this by documenting all misconduct. Keep a journal at all times. Communicate all misconduct. This can happen by filing a complaint within your organization. Follow the chain of commands because they want to make sure you do this when you have a complaint. Inform human resources, even if you think it's not going to go anywhere, there needs to be a record. Externally, you can also file a complaint. You can do this with your Civil Rights Commission, EEOC. You also need to keep meticulous records of your accomplishments and the projects, the works that you've completed and have completed. You need to use these one-on-ones that are now mandatory for the managers to do, and the mid-year reviews, the yearly reviews. Use this as a stage to tell the story of your exceptional performance, what you've brought to the plate, and how you are an asset to the organization. Now, you need to model and support ethical conduct yourself. You need to attend and participate in any of the trainings. Make sure that you have completed your ethics trainings, your anti-bullying, anti-harassment trainings. To be proactive, you can select a counselor, a therapist. This is great for processing what is happening to you and how you need to proceed. Another proactive step, find an attorney that specializes in workplace bullying. And finally, but definitely not least, implement an ultimatum for yourself. What do you need to consider? Do you need to consider a transfer, disability, workman's comp? Do you need to find a new job? Do you need to change careers because the atmosphere is just a toxic environment? Well, as I mentioned, as a layperson, we cannot diagnose an individual with narcissistic personality disorder. In lieu of this fact, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited. Within the next couple of weeks, we are going to have a guest, a licensed professional counselor, to help us further understand workplace bullying and leader narcissistic tendencies. So stay tuned. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, our time is up, but let's stay connected. And we can do that by subscribing and liking. Subscribing will allow for the provision of notifications of new content on a weekly basis. Well, thank you for tuning in and have a great work week.